Every transfer window, football fans around the world become obsessed with one thing: transfers. Will their club sign a superstar? Will a young talent leave for a bigger team? How much will the transfer fee be? The headlines are exciting. The social media rumors never stop. And when a deal is finally announced, fans celebrate as if they've won a trophy. But behind the flashy announcement videos and smiling player photos, there's an entire business world that most fans never see. Because football transfers aren't just about football anymore. They're also about money, negotiations, influence, and sometimes millions of dollars changing hands in ways that rarely make the headlines. Let's take a closer look at the business behind football transfers. When fans see a transfer fee of $100 million, they often assume that money goes directly from one club to another. The reality is much more complicated. A major transfer often involves agents, lawyers, scouts, intermediaries, performance bonuses, signing bonuses, image rights agreements, and various commissions. By the time the paperwork is complete, multiple parties may have earned money from a single deal. One of the most influential figures in modern transfers is the player agent. Agents represent players and negotiate contracts, salaries, sponsorship opportunities, and transfer terms. In many cases, they play a crucial role in making a transfer happen, but agents can also earn significant commissions. For some of the biggest deals in football history, agent fees have reached millions of dollars. That's why agents are often heavily involved in transfer negotiations and sometimes become almost as important as the clubs themselves. Then there's the issue of timing. Fans often think clubs buy players simply because they need them. Sometimes that's true. But football transfers are also business decisions. A club might sign a player because he has a massive social media following. Another player might attract attention from an important market or region. Some signings can boost shirt sales, sponsorship opportunities, and global visibility. In other words, clubs aren't always buying just a footballer. Sometimes they're buying a brand. This became especially clear during the era of superstar signings. When clubs brought in global icons, the impact extended far beyond the pitch. Merchandise sales increased, sponsorship deals became more valuable, and millions of new fans started following the club. The player's football ability mattered, but so did his commercial value. Another side of the transfer business that many fans overlook is player trading. For some clubs, developing and selling players has become a business model. Young talents are identified early, developed through academies, and eventually sold for large profits. In some cases, clubs generate more income from player sales than from prize money. This approach can be financially successful, but it often creates frustration among supporters who want to see their best players stay. Then there are release clauses, contract negotiations, and transfer strategies that happen months before any official announcement. Many deals are quietly discussed long before journalists report them. Clubs monitor players for years. Scouts attend countless matches. Agents hold conversations behind the scenes. What fans see during transfer deadline day is often the final chapter of a story that started months or even years earlier. And here's something else that rarely gets attention. Not every transfer is successful. A club may spend tens of millions on a player who struggles to adapt, suffers injuries, or simply doesn't fit the team's style. When that happens, the financial consequences can be enormous. The transfer fee is only part of the cost. Clubs must also pay wages, bonuses, agent fees, and various operating expenses. A failed transfer can impact a club's finances for years. This is why recruitment departments have become incredibly important. Modern clubs rely on data analysts, scouts, performance experts, and financial specialists to reduce risk and make smarter decisions. Football transfers today are part sporting decision and part investment strategy. Another interesting reality is that transfer fees themselves don't always tell the full story. Sometimes a deal reported as $50 million could eventually become much more expensive once bonuses and performance-related payments are included. A club might agree to pay additional money if the player wins trophies, reaches appearance milestones, or helps the team qualify for certain competitions. These details often remain hidden in the background while fans focus only on the headline number. And perhaps the biggest thing fans don't always realize is that football transfers are driven by competition. Not just on the pitch, but in business. Clubs compete for players the same way companies compete for top employees. The best talent is limited, demand is high, and prices continue to rise. As a result, transfers have become one of the most complex and expensive parts of modern football. So when you see a blockbuster transfer announced next time, remember that there's much more happening behind the scenes than a player changing shirts. There are negotiations, financial calculations, commercial strategies, legal agreements, and countless people working to make the deal happen. Football transfers may look simple from the outside, but behind every big signing is a multi-million-dollar business operation that most fans never get to see. And that's the side of football the headlines rarely talk about.